Good morning, everyone. My name is Miss Jones, and I wanted to start off with our lesson on paraphrasing. All right, let's start off. Who knows what paraphrasing is, or who has a good idea? Wonderful, awesome. And who has paraphrased before, and do you feel confident in? Yeah. Great. Let's. I have a question for you. Who can describe the meaning of paraphrasing? Oh, it's hard. So deep.
Paraphrasing is you getting like a script, something like that, and replacing it with your own words so it's not copyright.
Wonderful. Awesome. And the way that you said copyrighted, is there another word that you might know instead of copyright? Is there, yeah, what's another thing that you would want to do properly? Yes.
Say it into your own words.
One more time?
Say it into your own words.
One more time.
Put it in your own words.
Put it in your own words. Great. And then you would want to cite it so that someone is not plagiarizing. Is that correct? Make sense? All right. So let's, yes.
But if you put it into your own words, why would you still have to?
That's a wonderful question. I love that. So if you put it in your own words, you still need to cite the source. Because when we do work, we're doing scholarly work, correct? So unless you made up the concept yourself or the idea, it's good to give credit to whoever wrote it or the idea. So for example, if we're coming from a book, if we're citing a book, our ideas came from somewhere. And that way, if someone is interested in what you're showing them or telling them about, like remember when we did our book club? During a book club, you all showed them where you were getting your story about. That way, if someone's interested, they can go back and get that same book. Does that make sense? All right. Let's move on to the next part. All right. One of the standards, we're going to be learning about a lot of standards today. And one of the standards is going to be key standard, gathering relevant information from multiple print and digital sources that assess the credibility of each source and quote or paraphrase the data and conclusion of others while avoiding plagiarism and providing basic bibliographic information for sources. So are you all familiar with this standard? Okay. Do you think you can take print data and digital sources, quote them, paraphrase them? Yes? Okay. Wonderful. We have many other additional standards which we'll go to. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a video, and we're going to watch this video about paraphrasing. All right, so if you just turn your laptops to the side, just put them to the side, please. Thank you so much. We are going to go ahead and watch this video together. Let's see. I think I'm trying to get away, so what we'll do is
sometimes you need to incorporate other people's ideas into your own writing. There are 3 ways to do that: quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing. First, I'm going to talk about what each one is. When you're quoting something, you're taking what the author says word for word and putting it in your paper. When you're paraphrasing something, you're explaining a piece of what the author says in your own words, but still giving the author credit for the idea. When you're summarizing something, once again, you're saying it in your own words, but you're also shortening what the author says. Usually people choose to summarize when the author's passage is on the longer side. For all 3 of these techniques, you want to make sure you cite your author at the end, so that way you're not plagiarizing. So let's do some examples. This is a story that Queen Eleanor tells Merida in the movie Brave. It's going to act as our original passage. So if we wanted to quote it, we would take a specific part of it and put quotation marks around it. In this case, our quote is, "The oldest prince wanted to rule the land for himself. He followed his own path and the kingdom fell to war and chaos and ruin." And then at the end, we're going to put the author, in this case, Queen Eleanor, at the end to show that we are using her words. Now let's move on to paraphrasing. If we were to paraphrase this passage, we'd say something like, when the king grew old, he gave a piece of his land to each of his 4 sons so they could rule the kingdom together. And once again, we're going to put Queen Eleanor's name at the end to show that we are taking from her words. So in this sentence, we're focusing on the part of the passage that talks about the king dividing up the kingdom, and we're explaining it in our own words. Now let's summarize this passage, because it's kind of long. A summary would sound something like, an ancient king divided his land among his 4 sons, but the oldest prince took the land for himself and drove the kingdom into ruin. So when we paraphrased, we focused on the king giving away the land. But here, we're also focusing on the fact that the prince took all of the land and the effects of that. And these are the 3 ways that you can incorporate somebody else's ideas into one of your papers. But the main thing to remember is that no matter which one of these techniques you use, you have to cite your author at the end. That way you don't plagiarize.
Wonderful. All right. So, the next thing we're going to do is we have a worksheet on vocabulary. We'd like you to take one and pass it out. Take one, pass the other ones around. Right. Are you all familiar with vocabulary? Yes. You know they have songs and even like raps and literary terms. All right. So let's go for, I'm going to read the first portion. Paraphrasing is putting information that you read or hear in your own words. A paraphrase is different from a summary. Summaries are usually short and only explain a text's most important parts, while paraphrasing includes all the same information as the original text, including smaller details, so they are just as long as the original. Why is paraphrasing important? First, it shows that you understand the material that you just read or heard, and if you can't paraphrase a text, you probably didn't really understand it. Second, it makes information easier to remember later. And third, it's helpful when you want to include information that you read in your own essay or research paper. So who can read the first example, number 1?
Which of these is the best example of a person? After reading a book about whales, Suyun wrote a sentence describing the main idea in his own words.
Okay. What's the other option? That's A. What about? Do you think that's the answer?
There's I don't know.
Okay.
There's other.
So that's A. Let's go on to B, C, and D.
Joseph read a paragraph about coding, then read a paragraph about what he learned in his own words. After Alex read an article about Harriet Tubman, he decided to read a book about her. Isabel wrote an essay about skateboarding. Then Jamie copied the essay word for word. All right. I want you to look at it and decide which one you think is the correct answer. Can you all circle that? You need a pencil? Here you go. Look up when you're ready. Awesome. You can just take a look at it, make your best answer, make your best choice. Okay. And again, look up at me when you're ready. Awesome. Which one do you all say? If you put A, put your pencil up in the air if you picked A. If you picked C, pick your pencil up. If you picked D, put your pencil up. If you picked B, put your pencil up. Wonderful. Awesome. So you're showing me that you already have a good understanding of paraphrasing.
I want you to go ahead and work on number 2, 3, and 4 on your own. Okay? I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to work on that. All right. Let's go on to number 2. What take your marker and your dry erase board and write the number that you got for the letter that you got for number 2. Here you are.
For number 2?
Yes, number 2. All right. Good. So, why is it important to close the book when you write a paraphrase? A, so you remember the title of the book. B, so you can write more clearly. C, so you won't summarize the main idea. D, so you won't accidentally copy from the book. Let's see what you all have already. And D, D. Awesome. Okay, good. And that is correct. And the reason why is because the passage states that closing the book ensures you won't be able to copy the text, which just helps you. All right, let's move on to number 3. You can look at the answers, and if you haven't, you should have all had it. Now, go ahead and write on your board your letter that you think best answers number 3. Okay? All right, I'm going to read it. Imagine you are writing a paraphrase of the passage. Which of the following details from the passage cannot be reworded? A, January 17th, 1706. B, the United States was not yet a country. C, he loved to read. Or D, his family was poor and his father needed help.
Wait, which not?
Not be, which one cannot be reworded? What's something that you, what's a detail within this text that you just need to take the whole fact, that's something that you cannot change or reword? All right, I'm going to give you about 3 more seconds. And it's, whether you have it right or wrong, it's okay. All right, because we're all learning. Is that okay? All right. Let's see your boards. What do you have? I have A, N, C, and C. All right, guess what? The correct answer is A. They were all this was a very difficult one because they're very close. But the reason why is because according to the passage, some details like names and dates cannot be changed. All right, so let's move on to number 4 about plagiarizing. I'm going to read it. Which of the following is true about plagiarizing? A. Only people who copy a text word for word are plagiarizing. B. Plagiarizing can be done accidentally, even if you didn't mean to cheat. C. It is okay to plagiarize as long as you cite the source you used. Or D. You can avoid plagiarizing by changing 1 or 2 words. I know that it's very difficult. So guess what? Sometimes at this point you can just make your best choice and just guess. Okay?
Maybe
We're gonna get more practice.
all of them are good, so.
It's tough, but I'll give you the reason. Okay, you ready? We're gonna do 3 more seconds and just okay. You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have B, C, C, B, C. All right. The answer is B.
Yeah,
Plagiarizing can be done accidentally, even if you didn't mean to cheat. Well, that's what you know. What they always say: go with your first mind. You know, think about it. Go with your gut. Go with your first mind. According to the passage, sometimes people plagiarize on purpose, and sometimes they do it by accident. Okay, so the reason why you can avoid plagiarizing by changing one or two words is that avoiding plagiarizing?
no.
Okay, because if you make a sentence and somebody, if you wrote a song, you wrote a poem, and someone changed one or two words in your song,
That's to do like you're basically saying like you have to use synonyms of like every word.
good, exactly. So it would have to be a whole new song, or you'd have to quote the person and say, I use them for inspiration for my song. Okay. The next one that you all, a lot of you said, see, it is okay to plagiarize as long as you cite the source you use. So it is never okay to plagiarize. Okay. If you're citing the source, you are doing it properly. So that's why that was a little trick question. But you all are so bright. That was a tough one. All right, we're going to move on to reading and understanding through paraphrasing. Some other worksheets that we're going to go over. So, requirements for stating a paraphrase or a paragraph. Um, we've kind of gone over the rules with this last worksheet, so I'm going to skip that part. And another way to strategize would be to um, read a paragraph. There's a rap strategy that they call. Read a paragraph. Ask yourself, what is the main idea of the paragraph, and what are the details that support that main idea? RA, and then P is put the main idea and details into your own words. Okay, so it's rap strategy. Read, ask, and put. Okay. Is that easy to remember? It's all right. So I am very proud of your progress so far and what you all are learning. I want you to all look at handle number 8 and 9. Okay, y'all pass it around, please. Talking about um, plants, and it has. Thank you. This is an example of paraphrasing paragraphs. Okay. All right. There's several keywords from this reading of seed plants. I want you to. Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Does everyone have that now? All right. All right. If you look, there's some keywords that are underlined throughout this reading about plants. Yes. Let's start off with paragraph number 1, and then we're going to go and look at the back and apply that paragraph. So, what plants do you see in your neighborhood? Trees as maples and ginkgos, and flowers such as geraniums and combine are possibilities. Fruit crops such as strawberries, pumpkins, and corn may grow in some gardens. You're also likely to see grass and weeds. All these plants and more others we see are seed plants. Seed plants? Plants grow from seeds. They need water, sunlight, and minerals to thrive. All right, let's turn to the back of the worksheet. Let's look at some of the words that we saw. Um, for example, we're going to paraphrase each word by writing a word or words with similar meaning in the space provided. So what we're doing is we're practicing paraphrasing by taking a word and choosing another word like a synonym that we could switch out with that word. So possibilities. Another word for possibilities are examples. Another word for who can read it? Number word. What's the next example? Next to the possibility. Grow. And what's another word for grow? Okay. Does anyone have another word besides grow? Say again?
Water.
Okay. Water and what?
Expand.
Water and moisture. Good. Okay. All right. Let's look at essential.
Important.
Essential would be important. Good. Go ahead and write that down. Does anyone have any other words for essential? Move on to the next word.
Absorb.
Yes, absorb.
To take in.
Yes, that's great. And what about the next one?
It's on the.
Live. Good. Does anyone have another word for survive? Or live?
To be here.
Good. To exist. Right. So I just want you to have that example to understand, have practice with using the words that you have, building from there. Okay. You all can work on that later on. Um, we're going to go into a book it and we're going to practice that in the book.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
If they do.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So go ahead. Open up.
Gonna be handing out more papers or just gonna take this?
That's it. Right now,
Are we gonna do it and like do it together?
I'm going to post it. Um, sometimes I know it's cahoots. Sometimes a question comes up on the board as a group. Is there one that comes up on the board for a applicant that you know of? Or is it individual?
If you're signed into it, and because I can create.
Okay.
That's the only. There's also.
All right. So what's your preference? We can do Gold Quest, Fishing Frenzy, Crypto Hack. Okay. Crypto Hack, everyone says?
No.
Our all right. Our I'm going to share with you the pen. All right. The pen is 328 327 328 3276. Let me know when you have that. 3276. Okay. What? Right? Yes, it's one more time. 328 3276. Anyone have it? Please make sure that your names are appropriate names or you'll be booted out. Okay. If you are logged in, tell me you're in the house. Anyone else? Stay away from me. Anybody else? All right. And we are starting.
You can just skip the instructions.
Okay. So
I'm gonna beat
I'll be monitoring as you are doing your answering your questions.
everything in the past. I'm gonna get you from the code. What answer you that? Aren't you the first? There's 6. Oh, okay, good to know.
All right.
Well, why would I say my past fraud? Don't. That's easy. Double click that.
All right.
Double click the word hink means I don't know. What does hink mean?
Okay, we should be.
Can somebody
Here are the questions.
leave me alone, please. Bro, because that didn't even show me. What is? Yes, thank you. Oh, I'm hacking. We shouldn't tell people their passwords because I'm hacking Victoria. What's your password, Victoria?
The word hair can mean.
Nobody cares. I don't have any.
Different.
Incorrect. No.
Choose it out. That's kind of how the game is going.
I don't have any videos. I still got it. Smiley face. Who's the smiley face? It's Ian. Guys, it's Ian. Smiley face.
What's Ian's password for the season? Let me start.
It's probably not.
Cover that one. What's out of sight? It's out of sight. Are you serious?
What can yeah. This phone big size. What's your time? Somebody. I'm hacking in. No, please, bro. I guess I'm not. No, it's not bro, I stole Victoria. Victoria, I keep hacking you. Bro, he only has 45.
Victoria, I keep hacking you. I got yours, Daddy. What's
That's Asai is
All right. I'm going to
don't end it yet.
do it two more times, okay?
I'm hacking you again, Ian. Ian, I'm hacking you again.
Yes, you're mistaken. What's Victoria's password? What's Victoria's password? It's nobody cares.
Bro, my eyes.
The condition of
Why am I using Google Lens? Only 7
Bro, why is everybody hacking them so much? That's crazy.
Yeah, why is everyone because I have a what is serious? I got hacked. So let's call it password. Oh
that one you got wrong?
That's great.
My claim is the merge means the predicament.
I also know why I have a
No,
Your first mind, right?
I said go with your first mind. It's like
We're right.
Good job. You're hacking her. What's your password? Leave me alone.
All right. What we're
It's
going to
probably
do?
that. Hack me bot. Worth exact.
All right. We're going to
Guess your thing.
end it.
That one.
All right. Actually, you have 2 more minutes. And as I'm walking around and monitoring, I'm seeing that some people are getting some wrong, and it's okay because the question will come back around, and it's
Hey, I'm learning from my mistakes.
yeah, I love that you are learning from your mistakes. 1 minute and 50 seconds left.
No, why are you counting?
Think
Don't
about
count our time, bro.
when you get a wrong answer, pay attention to what the correct answer is.
What is Minecraft? What's Parker's password? Minecraft. Yours? It's nobody here. It's the same one as hers. No, they have the same one. Wait. No, it's new. It is.
I'm gonna allow you to
Parker's having basketball party.
I'm gonna allow you to ask your classmates what the question is if you don't know.
It's out. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
What is what are
I do. I have to feel like.
what do you think? Is that correct?
What is yellow? No, I don't guess. Before now, leave never again for this time. Guess my password. Nobody's guessed my password. What's Ian's password? Ian's is
Right. This is from this time point. So now you got to how do you know it?
1,000.
All right.
From years. She said 1,000, 2,000 or something. Oh my god, I'm hacking you again. Stealing from you. Think you're gonna hack there.
Diverge. What does diverge?
I got 2,000.
Great job.
1,000 again.
All right. I'm sure you probably have about 30 more seconds.
I don't even know what this
And I'm seeing a lot of
is.
good, correct answers.
Well, I haven't hacked anybody.
Okay.
Or tried. What's
Progress.
tried me?
Progress.
Thanks.
Keep up the great work.
What does fair mean?
All right, everyone, and it's ending in right now. No, wait. All right. We have a happy faces first.
Definitely. Ian, Addie, and Parker. Yes, guys. Let's go.
All right.
You guys go like 3,000.
All right, everyone. So, I think, everyone go ahead and close laptops. And do you think that there was anything more from this? Do you feel like, there you go. But you know what? You also look at. I feel like there were some ones that were incorrect. So sometimes the good thing about learning is you can learn what you already know, and you can also learn what you do not know. And it is always have a growth mindset. Be ready to learn more and more. Okay. What is one takeaway? Anybody have a takeaway or something they could tell other people about paraphrasing?
Not to think about like rap.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
like, I don't know. I think the F. I mean the R. But the A is. So read. So ask and then but.
Good. Awesome. Wonderful. Anybody else have any takeaways for your exit?
If you want to paraphrase, like, not paraphrase. If you want to like cite exactly what they're saying, you have to put in quotation marks next to say who it's from. Exactly.
Absolutely. Put it in quotation marks. Say where you got it from. Wonderful. Anyone else? Okay. I want you to pat yourselves on the back. You did a fabulous job. Thank you so much. And I will have something for you. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.